Hello everybody, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing good, having a good week so far, getting excited. Of course, this is fight week, and on Saturday we have the exceptionally good card on February the 22nd, Kingdom Arena, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And it's time for me to talk about the main event. Beterbiev versus Bivol, the rematch. Highly anticipated. The first fight, which was only October of last year, was a real purist's dream. You know, the incredibly devastating Artur Beterbiev versus the defensively blessed technician Bivol. Of course, as we know, it was a majority decision in favor of Beterbiev, who is now the undisputed light heavyweight champion. And of course, all the belts are on the line this coming Saturday. So, there's a few things that we need to talk about. But before we get to that, I must say I've seen some exceptionally good interviews. The ones I'm particularly impressed with being conducted by a lady called Charlotte Daly from the UK, and she writes for the Daily Mail. Or she corresponds for the Daily Mail. And I've been impressed with her interviews. She's got that technique of being able to ask good questions with using English that isn't overly slang or colloquial, particularly, you know, when you're dealing with fighters whose native tongue isn't English. And it comes across really well. So if you haven't seen those, I strongly encourage you to go and have a look. There's a few things about, and actually Dev Sarney from Queensbury has also conducted some good interviews. I don't normally like Dev Sarney. His style just sort of doesn't gel with me, but his interviews, particularly of these two fighters and of Big Bang Zhang, I thought were really rather good. You know, he's good on that one-on-one. Anyways, there's a few things about those interviews that if you listen carefully, you can really pick up a theme. And the theme that struck me is one of discipline. That, you know, neither are trash talkers. And in fact, Bivol says that, you know, to trash talk an opponent demeans himself. I'm using my words, of course, right? Demeans himself. And I think it's something that a lot of boxers from the UK or North America could take heed of. Because when you're trash talking and saying nasty, bad things about your opponent, the only person you're really bringing down is yourself. It was a very interesting thing. And as we know, Beterbiev, he doesn't say anything bad at all. The thing that I found funny about Beterbiev, he was asked, did he think he would ever be friends with Bivol? And he took a pause and he said, maybe in 15 years. You know, he's a very, his professional demeanor is one of being very serious. Though I understand he's actually a very likable fellow. And in fact, a couple of times he was saying that he doesn't actually enjoy punching people, but he does what his coach tells him, bringing it back to discipline. Discipline. And you can see the same thing with Alexander Usyk, that dedication to their profession, dedication to their craft. You know, Bivol has said that he aims for perfection because he wants to be perfect so that he can win everything. And he was saying that, you know, one of his very early fights when he was a young lad, he won a tournament, I guess, and he went home so happy, and his father said, but you got hit. And it sort of stayed with him that the object of this exercise is to hit, to be accurate, to aim, and to defend yourself, not get hit. Again, there's some real nuggets about boxing that come out from the conversations that people are having with these two absolute elite fighters, you know, number one and number two in the world in their division, right? You know, and Beterbiev was saying that, you know, again, everything is about focus, you know, doing what his coach tells him. Interestingly, again, fun fact, Beterbiev says he doesn't actually like boxing. He's not a boxing fan, which reminds me of my all-time favorite fighter, Sugar Ray Robinson, who, you know, very famously said, you know, yeah, I don't watch boxing. I don't like boxing. Interesting that these two people, of course, different generations, you know, at the absolute peak of their professional careers, are not actually fans of the sport. It's just an interesting little tidbit that I picked up on listening carefully to their interviews. And I enjoy listening to people like Beterbiev and Bivol talk, because there isn't any of this noise that you get sometimes when you get fighters who are just, kind of hurling insults or trying to be, witty with each other. Both these fighters said they don't talk to each other. They don't look at each other. They're just opponents, but they're both very respectful of their opponents. And Bivol said, he views every opponent as the very, very best, because it helps him with his focus. I think there's a great deal that young athletes can learn if they take the time to sit and listen to these fighters. There's a lot that can be learned. Anyways, let's just have a quick tail of the tape. We know where they stand. I'll give a breakdown of who I think has to do what, and then I'll make my final prediction, okay? So Beterbiev is a champion. He's 40 years old, 5'11 and a half, 73-inch reach, 21-0-0. 20 of those wins by way of knockout, which is 95% KO ratio. The only person he failed to knock out, the only person who went the distance with him, is his opponent, Dmitry Bivol. 34 years old, so 6 years age difference. That might be a factor. Slightly taller, 6 foot even, slightly shorter reach, 72-inch reach, 23-1-0, 12 of his wins by way of KO, 52% KO ratio. His only loss, the majority decision, against the champion, Beterbiev. They're both Russians. Bivol fights out of California, and Beterbiev is an adopted Canadian. He actually fights out of, Montreal, Quebec. So, Beterbiev's offensively blessed. His KO ratio is, well, we've just talked about it, right? That's his key to victory. Keeping up the pressure. Can he start more quickly this time? Can he shine in rounds? Can he overwhelm Bivol? He wasn't able to last time. But remember, he's notoriously a bit slow starting. If he starts earlier with pressure, can he get to Bivol and break him down? Can he obtain a TKO or a KO by exhausting Bivol in those early rounds, so that Bivol, his defense gets a little bit weaker, or the cumulative effects of blows just brings Bivol down and puts Bivol in a position where he either can't continue or where he's open to that devastating power that Artur Beterbiev can deliver. If he can do that, then he's got a TKO or KO win. Bivol, of course, and both these fighters have said that they didn't really like their first performance, that there's things they can learn. Again, the mark of an absolute champion. Usyk does the same thing, right? But Bivol said, yes, he's seen things. He hasn't seen the whole fight. He won't watch the whole fight until after he's retired. But he's seen little snippets, a couple of minutes here where he did good, a couple of minutes there where he did bad, and he's clearly downloading this data to see where he can make improvements. So he's defensively blessed, and he's got a great tactician's mind. And that's not to say that Beterbiev doesn't. If he can evade the power punches of Beterbiev, he might be able to effectively counterattack. And if I've got this right, the CompuBox stats from the first fight showed that he landed more punches. Of course, Beterbiev landed more power punches. It's so close, right? So if Beterbiev can have adapted his game plan, he might be able to counter this relentless pressure that Beterbiev is going to bring to the table. Stamina and conditioning, they're both supremely fit athletes. They will have trained. They will be absolutely at their peak. They're very, very professional. If, as I said a few moments ago, Beterbiev can get a slightly faster start and maybe bring the pressure earlier, could that sap Bivol's conditioning? We don't know, but that might be something that's important. Is there any psychological edge, do we think, that Beterbiev now has because he beat Bivol the first time? I don't think so. Bivol has said that, he's angry at himself. He doesn't, he's not angry at the man who beat him. He's angry at himself. I don't think that these guys are vulnerable to psychological issues. Both are consummate professionals. You really have to struggle to find a fighter as professional as these two. And, I think, again, for the third time in this video, I'm going to mention Alexander Usyk. If you're looking at that level of professionalism. If Beterbiev can impose his will early, I think Beterbiev is going to win. If he doesn't, and Bivol has learned to be a little bit more active, especially in the championship rounds, he might edge it on points. I've got to make a call one way or the other. I think that the first fight, Beterbiev had come off knee surgery. He's had a little bit more time to recover now from knee surgery. He probably understands he needs to bring that pressure earlier. I think Beterbiev is going to win, and I think he's going to win by a late TKO. If it goes to points, I think that Bivol will have shown throughout the fight that he downloaded enough information from their first fight, that he was able to counter more, and that he's able to maintain the activity in the championship rounds, and that will give him a slight edge. I am hoping that the judging is absolutely straight down the middle, because there is, I gotta say, a little bit of my cynical or suspicious nature is that if this one goes to Bivol, then it sets up a trilogy fight, and of course all the money associated with that, right? So that's just something I'm crossing my fingers against, because it would spoil the fight if there was any kind of judging controversy. Okie dokie. That's my final pick is the Canadian Beterbiev by a late TKO. If you agree or disagree, please say so in the comments. Please like. Please share this video if you can. If you have friends who are boxing fans and they haven't seen these videos, please share. That would be awesome. If you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, please click on that little subscribe button. All these things are free, and so you don't miss any more. And please support the channel. It's great. I'm very much appreciative of everybody that does. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Cheers. Bye-bye.